Thank you very much, Mr. Fulad and Mr. Bianco, and thanks to the African Culture International Human Rights for giving us this opportunity to speak about our people suffering by the Iranian regime. Well, as we got time to speak in this regard, I would like to speak first of all about the execution that's been carried out about our people by the Iranian government, where we know as that the Iranian regime is the second country in terms of execution against the people, and as well as adult and juvenile, the kids, where there are 150 are waiting to be executed to get the 18 years old to be executed by the Iranian regime, unfortunately. And most of the trials that being conducted are just fake, and there is no transparency from the judgment, and most of the judgment taken place in the court where there is no solicitor being defined to defend the victims. And unfortunately, the tools is rising every day, as we know that the Middle East is destabilized by the war against the terror, and the Iranian regime internally afraid because of the economical sanction and economical disaster and bankruptcy that hits Iranian regime nowadays. So from the fear of the uprising against the central government, the government tried to increase the number of the executed people in terms to put the fears and horror in the heart of the citizens. For the arrest, where we are now in the late Ramadan and we are approaching by Eid al-Fitr, which most of the Muslims are celebrating this holiday, but the Iranian regime are arresting mass number of Ahwazi Arab people just for their wearing their traditional dress or celebrating their own Arabic ties. Unfortunately, it's not good to say that, but now we have large number in Ahwaz that been arrested, and they are not living with the standard condition of the prison. So Iran is the 8th country in terms of arrested people in the world, where there are more than 250,000 persons are in the jail. Imagine that this is the catastrophic situation that hits the Iranian regime. Well, most of my people are that's been arrested, well, they will get a criminal record because of their arrest, so they will be denied from getting any governmental job or any opportunity for raising their life circumstances. So that's why now Ahwaz, according to the Iranian media, has got the highest level of suicide in the Iranian geographical map, according to pro-media to the Iranian regime, stating that the Ahwaz region has got the most terms of the suicide in the region. And then if somebody been released, they will put a pressure on him or for the arrangement that he has to come and sign each 2 weeks. That I know that we've been in contact with some of the detainees, and we know from our friend that the Ahwazi famous poet, Mr. Ahmad Sabhan, is still facing pressure by the Iranian intelligence system. So still, even if you are not being executed, you will be sent to the lifetime jail, or you are under pressure unless you leave Ahwaz or to leave Iranian map to the safe country. This is the region which is hitting the Ahwazi Arab people. But the if we put aside these two and coming to the environmental phenomenon that hits the region, according to the World Health Organization, Ahwaz in southwest of Iran is the most polluted region in the world. Imagine that the visibility is reduced to a few meters because of the dust and So the Iranian regime, and we know there are large number of people going to the emergency unit each time that the dust wave hitting the Ahwazi region. And the Iranian regime, instead of building hospitals or treatment centers, it's just building prison. And we know, due to lack of the health necessities in Ahwaz, we have witnesses that the 2 or 3 patients are staying on one bed. That is a critical situation in Al-Ahwaz. So, apart from that, we have acid rains. And when the acid rains comes to the Ahwaz, at least 20 to 30,000 enter the emergency care unit in Ahwaz. Still, Ahwazi are struggling for their identity, and these environmental disasters that hit Ahwaz region because of the water diversion that the Iranian regime has built a mass dam on the Ahwazi river. Ahwaz contains 2/3 of the Iranian water. Most of the water goes through the rivers, but the water has been diverted through the huge water diversion project that named as Beheshtabad and Golab. Each of them will transfer at least 3 billion square feet of the water to the Iranian central cities, which cost us the life for the Ahwazi Arab people. So we try to tell the world that we are struggling for our identity, but the Iranian regime, they don't care. They are just executing our people, detained our activists, political and cultural activists, and we are forbidden even from making any institution that represent our people in Iran. The institution will allow to work inside Ahwaz in southwest of Iran unless the intelligence, the Iranian intelligence, will agree on it. And we know that nothing will be allowed unless it will be passed through the different type of the supervision from the intelligence service, and if the eyes and the thoughts are not with the Iranian regime, the institution will not be allowed. So it's difficult moment now we have in Ahwaz, and the Ahwazi Arab people are being denied from any governmental job unless they have to prove their loyalty to the Iranian regime. So most of the Ahwazi Arab people are spending their life through 2 ways. One of them through agricultural, and second one, free businesses. So the majority of Ahwazi Arab people, after being denied from the governmental job, they will go back to the farming and doing agricultural. But as I spoke earlier about the Iranian water diversion to the central cities, there is no more water in Al-Ahwaz. And the Iranian regime are forbidding our farmers from farming for last 5 consecutive years. They don't allow our people to farm. And as the agricultural is the main aspect of the life for spending their daily basis, So the Ahwazi family economy are now being destroyed by the Iranian regime. And we have many people are under poverty line. So the Iranian regime, under a pretext of there is a lack of water, and we know Ahwaz has got lots of water, and there are systematic prevention for the Ahwazi Arab being done and implemented by the Iranian regime in order to weaken the Ahwazi family, not to demand their legitimate rights that been given by the United Nations charters and norms. So now the Ahwazis are facing the critical situation through the preventing their people from farming. That is the mainstream for their daily life. But in another aspect and another type, we have got the free businesses that they have got their stalls, they sell fruit or any such a planet in order to make their life goes on. But unfortunately, still, as we know, through the trusted and reliable resources, says that most of the Ahwazi free businesses that been gathered in one place and famous in Ahwaz, been burned by the Iranian element, unfortunately. And now the situation cannot be defined or by 10 or 15 minutes speaking about our suffering. We are suffering, and as Mr. Robert Falkland, the British MP, has said that the Ahwazi Arab people situation are disastrous, and we need help from the United Nations and all the organizations that relate in these regards could help our Ahwazi, at least by condemning Iranian regime systematic plan for destroying the Ahwazi Arab people identity. As well, we have got lots of Ahwazi Arab has been fleeing because of the political background or severe poverty or some other circumstances. But unfortunately, they are being denied through the European Commission or other world countries. They are telling them that you are Iranian, and they are not Iranian. They are Ahwazi Arab who are being struggling for their identity and getting all their legitimate right back by the United Nations and all the institutions. So we have got many Ahwazis are still, they don't know what are their future. Through ignoring their identity, they want to prove that they are Ahwazi and they are not Iranian, and they fled Ahwaz because of the Iranian oppression and injustice against Ahwazi Arab people. One of the men who I know, Mr. Hussein Ahwazi, who is in Australia now, he is our member in Ahwazi Center for Human Rights, and still being ignored or denied to give them permission for residency in Australia. Still, we have in the European Commission as well, many Ahwazis are stayed for a long time in Europe. They've been denied of the residency and been sent back to Iran. When they sent back, they will face prison. As we documented many reports in this regard, many Ahwazis been sent from especially Netherlands and Sweden, sent back to Ahwaz, and they faced 6 to 10 years in prison. So that's another disastrous added to the Ahwazi Arab suffering. We have some the YouTube link about Ahwazi Arab suffering and poverty and marginalization that been recorded from Ahwaz. There is no water And you can see the poverty in the face of Ahwazi Arab in Ahwaz. I would like to request you, please.
هور ما بينا. هسه الهور ما صيد بإيران، ما عنده هور. الناس تصيد بالأعراض. الناس اللي تمشي للأعراض لو تنباقي الناس لو تتكتل. يعني لهالحد البشر الخاطر عيشته يمشي للموت. ربنا بالآخرة احنا ما عندنا ان شاء الله نلاقيهم بالآخرة. هاي ناس عندها عيالات تريد تعيش بالعين، وين تعيش؟ أكثر الأطفال قاعدة تتمرض. أنا نفسية ابني من هذا الماي. الجن والله الماي تشربه تلقى بيه ضراع بالماي من اللولة. تصفية إذا تريد تشتريها 3 ملايين 4 ملايين. وأنت يوم تشتغل و10 أيام جات. الهور نشف، أطفالنا تشرب ماي فيس، وهاي حالتنا.
How they bring water from the river, dirty water. And this is the situation in Ahwaz.
شوف هذا بيت نشوفه وهذا في الشط. شوف هذا هسه تروح تصير بالشط يصيح. اعطينا يصير هسه غادي بالشط وحش. حد حيل تهيسني؟ ما تهيسني. بعد بالنهار ننضرب والصبح ننقل العصر والصبح ننقل ماء. فاش نسوي؟ فاش نسوي؟ ايش بقينا؟ وهاي بايام الشتي يصير ضي، وبايام القيض حاره ما تحطون كرامه حار، وبالشتاء بارد ومطر. والله عندي بنات تلست روسي كانت قصيبتها تلقى المرأة هذه حتى هسه روسي تلست وتمرضت من قال الماء. بعد ما استحي ما يلونه ما الشلمه. ما يلونه ما الشلمه. واحنا نتشربع بهذا الماء. الله وكيلك انا اسوي شاي ما تقدر تبلع. شو نسوي؟ باليخشال بالقيض مش بروده، ماي شويه ميه بارده نقدر نبلعها. شو نسوي؟ ما نقدر. انا يجينا خطار ما يشرب، لا يشرب شاي ولا يشرب ماي. فاش نسوي؟ بدينا هسه هاي هلا طلعت عندهم عيون نفط، الدولة تمشي بيها، الزروع تمشي بيها، تسوي ستيتشك. كان بعد هلا يقول مطيها بايام هاي الرايات، يقول مطيها ملايين. هسه احنا ما نريد احنا من ملايينهم، احنا نريد السلامة ونريد ان هلبة مي تكسفينا. احنا ليش بالمثل هنا عاطينا لا مثل يستعنون بينا بالوينة، لا يستعنون بينا مثل بسكة، ليش احنا واحنا طلعنا زراتك لليران؟
This is the situation in Ahwaz when the Ahwaz region, provide the 80% of Iranian oil and 90% of Iranian gas. But this is the situation which you saw in the Ahwaz. There is no even road, there is no even drinking water in Al-Ahwaz. That's the poverty that we saw, which lady was speaking about. Still, we have another YouTube, please, if you could.
متاسفانه بعد از گذشت 25 سال مردم این روستا از کوچکترین حقوق خودشون محروم هستند. از کوچکترین حقوق یک انسان از کوچکترین حقوق یک انسان ایرانی.
احنا هاي الزعلان بايعين كنار ولا بايعين ارض وعندنا سنوده وهم عندنا حق ريشه اشياء وايد فرد مره ابروا علينا. هم ابروا علينا احنا ناس تشوف هاي الديره مالت حرب عارض شنو احنا فوق. ابروا علينا كذا وقعني هسه خليتوا القاع ما يخالف زورها زور عندكم خليتوها عندكم زور ما يخالف على زوركم خلوها لكن تخلونا موتا من الاقل.
زمین اینجا رو گرفتید نوش جان لااقل آبمون رو بهمون بدید. تنها منبع آب اینجا آب فاضلاب مزارع نیشکره.
وجدانا نطانا ماي نوبين وماي الحيوان ما يشربه وتفضل لا عندك كاميرا تفضل هذا الماي هم واحد يفيد على كل واحد غيور وشهم ومن ظهر ابوه وشريف مسلم ما هو مسلم لكن انسانيه عنده هيك هذا ما وجدانا هم واحد يشربه اكو حيوانات يشربه اكو طير يشربه. انت افرض هذا الماي هسه لا تسالني انت بعينك تشوف. لا ما تسالني انت بعينك تشوف هذا الماء. طب احنا هنا ضلينا بعد. هذا اللي حوطوا علينا شوف هسه احنا محوطين علينا شلون غزه لابد ما جانا سامع بالاخبار مالات غزه احنا محوطين اي شيء ما يوصل. شنو يوصل؟
دادگاه حکم کرده که شرکت نیشکر در قبال زمین هایی که از روستای صفحه گرفته یک زمینی مقابل اون هم تراز اون هم قیمت اون هم سقف اون داده بشه. جاشو هم مشخص کرده.
اوليتهم قالوا احنا كل شيء نعطيكم منازل ونعطيكم ارض زراعيه ونعطيكم شارع مرتاح يعني للحلال لكم هم جاء نعطيكم اياها هاي شان الحلال. لا هسه اعطونا الديره ولا اعطونا الارض الزراعيه ولا اعطونا الجاع المرتع وحتى الجاع اللي بدينا وبيها سنه طاحوا بيها قفلوها يعني هجزوها بعد ما نقدر نجيب بالامان. خربوا عبارتها يعني ملكي انا ملكي خربوا العباره وظل محبوس. هذا هو شوفها بعينك لابد اوديك الى وشوفها اسال عليه.
جوانان اینجا بدون کار موندن تنها بیششون دامپروری بوده کشاورزی وقتی اون از زمیناشو میگرفتن نمیتونن کار بکنن. دامپروری هم 4 تا حراست گذاشتن نمیتونه با بوستانش بذاره داخل و بره بیرون. چی کار بکنه؟ شرکت بهش کار نمیده. زمینش هم گرفتیم آب بهش نمیدیم حیوانش هم نمیذاریم بیاد داخل. چطور امرار معاش بکنه؟
يعني هذه انت ماخذ العيشه مالك يعني انت ماخذ العيشه انت مسلم انت ما الحمد لله حي انت مسلم ماخذ العيشه مالك يعني ماخذ العيشه مالك وانت هسه انطي نفس يا جماعه اريد نفس بس لا يسجل هو احنا هسه نفس ما عندنا. انت شوف عينك هاي هذه مجبغاره انت عاين هاي الظروف عاين هذني البيوت مالاتنا طاحن علينا. لا تيجي تعاينين هن طايحات عاين هسه هذه الفرقات هذول هذا الفرق بس ما يكسروها. ليش هيك؟ الله يرضى. اكو بلد هيك مثل هذول اكو بالدنيا هذه شوفها عينك يا ديره مثل هاي الديره ليش؟
روزی که این مزارع رو آتش میزنن فاصلهش تا روستا 40 متر بیشتر نیست 30 متر. وقتی آتش میگیره یه مزرعه 25 هکتاری آتش میگیره. دودش کجا میره؟ میاد توی این روستا. آب که نداریم، هوا که نداریم، آتش هم دور و بر ما هم هست، زمین هم که گرفتیم، کشاورزی هم نمیتونیم بکنیم، خونه هم نمیتونیم.
That's the YouTubes that been recorded from Ahwas to show you that what the suffering, what the miseries that Ahwazi Arab people are suffering through the Iranian regime. So they were speaking about the land confiscation. The Iranian regime has confiscated the Ahwazi Arab land through the different projects like the Supreme Leader project that they've been confiscated 550,000 hectares of the agricultural land, and as well through the sugar cane project that's been made in south of Iran, more than 140,000 hectares been confiscated by the Iranian regime. And recently, the 44,000 that been confiscated and gave to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard retired people. All these means are doing to change the Arab demographic region of the Al-Ahwaz in the favor of the Persian people that we are suffering. There is no air because of the air pollution. Ahwaz is the most polluted region in the world. There is no water, as you see in the YouTube. So, and there is no lack of the health, educational, the poverty are hitting the Arab people from every different angle. And when we are speaking, being accused that you are separatists and you are looking for, we are speaking just about our suffering. We need our legitimate rights. We need our education facilities, health facilities. By every time that we see the acid rain in Al-Ahwaz, more than 30,000 enter the emergency care unit. And still, the Iranian regime is continuing to build the prison instead of hospitals. Thank you for your listening, and thank you very much, Mr. Fuller.
We want to thank Dr. Faisal.